What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one and only Ash Said It. AshSaidIt.com, AshSaidIt.com. Thank you so much for supporting the Ash Said It Daily podcast show. I appreciate you guys so very much. Today is a special show, very special show. Occasionally, the world produces one of those rare thinkers that alters the course of history. Disney reinvented entertainment, Einstein revolutionized science, and Fender revolutionized music. If you think about it, Leo Fender has influenced every person on earth today. Guitar Player magazine declared that Clarence Leo Fender is the father of the solid body guitar. Not only did he invent it, but Leo's guitars were used by everyone from Elvis Presley to Eric Clapton, from Jimmy Page to Jimi Hendrix. Indeed, Rolling Stone magazine published a lot of the world's top 100 guitarists, and 90 of them used one of Leo's guitars on stage. Leo Fender was shy, he had a glass eye, and was nearly deaf, yet he built an iconic worldwide empire that is worshipped by the rock stars themselves. The highest price ever spent for music memorabilia was not for Michael Jackson's glove, original Beatles' handwritten lyrics, or even Elvis's killer pantsuit. It was the Fender Stratocaster, which sold for a staggering $2.7 million. Today, I have with me the wife, the widow of Mr. Leo Fender, Miss Phyllis Fender.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I also have Mr. Randall Bell. We're going to talk about Leo Fender, the quiet giant heard around the world. Thank you, too, for joining me today.
It's our pleasure.
Is it true that Leo was really born in a barn?
He was really born in a barn. His dad was a farmer, and that's what they did in those long ago days, was you built the barn first to take care of the animals, and then you built the house. So he was a lucky one, firstborn son in the barn, and helped his dad on the farm with all kinds of fruits and vegetables. And that was how he started out.
What inspired him to invent the electric guitar?
He happened to talk to some guitar players that were doing a big band deal here in Fullerton that played acoustic guitars. And they were really unhappy. They said, we're playing as hard and as fast as anybody, and nobody can hear us. The horns and the drums and all of this were above them, and nobody could hear them. Well, Leo had his Fender radio shop, so he got a hunk of wood and dug the insides out and put some electrical stuff in there and said, let's see what we can do. And there's where electric guitars started, right there, because an acoustic guitar person wasn't heard in a band. So it was just magic.
So how hands-on were you, Ms. Phyllis, with a lot of the influence with him starting this new business?
There was another Mrs. Fender before me that he met in college, and she was a wonderful, wonderful lady. Her name was Esther, and but she developed lung cancer. She worked for the phone company in town, and they allowed the members to smoke. She didn't smoke, but she got lung cancer. And so she passed away way before I met Leo.
Gotcha.
So I only knew about G&L, his second company, but not the first.
I heard that you and Leo had an argument over Willie Nelson. What was that all about?
Well, we were just talking one night after dinner, and I was asking him about how he got busy on all of his things and this and that. And I said, you know, honey, I said, if you could make a guitar that sounded like Willie Nelson, you might get famous. And he stood up and put his hands on his hips, and he said, I don't think that's funny. And he marched out of the room and didn't talk to me till the next day. Because I told him he needed to do something, and he had already done it 100 times with the guitars that he was already making. But they didn't sound like Willie Nelson's with a hole in them.
There is an entire chapter dedicated to Leo and food.
He loved food, especially if it was anything to do with vegetables. You know, he grew up on the farm. He came from a German family that had a lot that used a lot of vegetables in their meals. And anything that had vegetables, lots and lots of vegetables, he was really crazy for.
Now we're going to talk about this collaboration between you and Mr. Randall Bell. How did the collaboration for this book come about?
Oh, he picked me up at the Fullerton Museum. Well, actually, he did.
Oh, really?
But I'm a docent at the museum, and I was giving a lecture on Leo, and he and a friend of his happened to walk in, hear part of it, and we got to talking after the show was over. And come to find out, his dad had worked for Fender, and we just hit it off, and I'm madly in love with him, and he's my favorite grandson.
Well, what shocked me, Ash, is that I grew up here in Fullerton. In fact, my mom is 95 years old and just lives a couple blocks from the Fenders. So the Fenders lived in the neighborhood, but Leo was so famously quiet. And as Phyllis mentioned, my dad worked for Fender. He's head of the research and development department, but we didn't know anything about Leo. He was so quiet, and yet he built an iconic empire known worldwide. Yes. And I felt, very passionately that we really needed to know about this guy and what made him tick.
Phyllis, what was the most important thing you wanted to get across?
Well, there were lots and lots of books about all of the instruments and things, all of the things that he had designed and created. But nobody ever knew Leo because he stayed out of the public eye. He was not a people person. He just wanted to work in his laboratory and make something new. Well, when he married me, he became an instant father. He became a grandfather. He became an uncle. He became all of these things in this big, silly, crazy family of mine. And he became one of us. Aww. And I wanted people to know that inside this quiet man, all of a sudden this other person is blossoming. And it was so wonderful to see him. He had never had a hug. And he hugged everybody after that. It was I just wanted people to know the Leo that I married and fell in love with. So it was just that. It was just, please know my Leo.
Aww. That is so precious and so sweet that you have all these just wonderful memories. And that's a wonderful thing when people come into your life and they change your life for the better. And as they pass on, they leave an imprint on your heart. That is just, it's amazing. And it's like nothing and no one can ever touch that. No one can ever compete with it. And it's always just that special part that is always going to be with you. I love it.
Well, I always said that when Leo and I got married, he gave me the world of music and I gave him the world of family. And I think we were pretty evenly matched.
He obviously touched so many people in the industry and beyond. But who are some of his favorite musicians to work with?
Well, Leo liked three kinds of music. Number one was country, number two was Western, and number three was country Western. That's what he loved. He frankly didn't like rock and roll, and what's so ironic is that rock and roll was invented because of Leo Fender. But the thing is, he did love the musicians. If you played the guitar, Leo liked you, regardless of whether he liked your music or not.
What events do you guys have lined up for the book launch? Because I know that that's coming up relatively soon.
Yeah, things are exploding. We have a big event at the Fullerton Museum. There's a permanent Leo Fender display there. And on November 17th, Mrs. Fender's on stage answering questions from the audience. That's when the book releases, November 17th at the Fullerton Museum. And then for everyone pre-ordering the book on Amazon or anywhere, Mrs. Fender is hand-signing every book that's pre-sold. So we've got reviews pouring in. It's really fun. We're having lunch in a few weeks with some rock stars. Can't mention it, but we're going to videotape it and put it on our website at leofender.com. So we're having a lot of fun.
Awesome. It sounds like you guys are having a lot of fun. I'll be out there in spirit. I'm here in Atlanta, GA, but you guys I know that you're holding it down out there in California. I really appreciate you spending a little time with us, with our audience, and talk a little smidgen about Leo. We don't want to give everything away because we want everyone to go out there and get that book so they can have a first-hand account about the quiet giant.
Yeah, yeah. And then you know what everyone in my family's getting for Christmas?
Oh, yeah. Everybody's going to get it.
Mine too. My shopping's over.
Absolutely. Well, I thank you guys so very much. I know that you've got a tight schedule, but thank you so much for making time for us and talking a little bit about Leo and letting everybody know about the book launch. Any last words for our audience?
If you're a guitar player, keep on playing. And if you're not, why don't you try to learn? So the world needs music, and musicians are really special angels. So we're a happy family of musicians, and the world needs every single one of them.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you guys for downloading the show, Ash Said It Daily, the Ash Said It Daily podcast. We have nearly 500,000 streams worldwide. We're available on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher, Player FM, and so many more. So thank you for those downloads. We've got more things coming on ashsaidit.com. Keep in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face and tell them, don't believe me, just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. Because that's what we're doing this for. We're doing this for the history books. Social media is nice, it's cool, it's fun, but real life is so much better. Until next time.